Highest to Lowest's final confrontation and musical coda both speak to the underlying themes of the Spike Lee film. A modern reimagining of the classic Japanese film High and Low, Highest to Lowest focuses on David King. A music mogul in the middle of a tricky business proposition, King's plans are thrown into disarray when his son is seemingly kidnapped by a mysterious figure. The first half of the film is a tight character drama, while the second half shifts into a more action-driven storyline befitting King's hunt for the kidnapper. This builds to a confrontation between Denzel Washington's David and A$AP Rocky's young Felon, an aspiring rapper and longtime fan of King who decided to break the law to finally get what he feels is owed. It all plays well into the film's modernization of High and Low's exploration of the wealthy and the impoverished, building to an intense confrontation and unexpected musical catharsis. Here's how the ending of the critically acclaimed Highest to Lowest compares to the film that inspired it and what that final musical performance by Ice Spice's Marisol really means. Why David King turns down making music with young Felon. Denzel Washington in Highest to Lowest poster cropped. David King's final meeting with young Felon ends with King refusing to make music with his assailant, which highlights the growth that King has experienced in the film. For much of Highest to Lowest, King remains concerned about his financial success and the security it provides his family, especially while trying to start a new music company. King's love for music is what propelled him to success in the first place, but he is reminded repeatedly in the film that he has lost connection with the music and art that inspired him in the first place. Over the course of the film, King is shown that money means little in the long run, with his own friends at his company going along with plans to cost him everything he has. In the end, King has the chance to make one of the world's most successful tracks with young Felon, who explains that he has become a massive star after being arrested for his crimes. If David was solely focused on the money, he would likely take the deal despite understanding how unstable and dangerous young Felon is. However, after seeing how young Felon operates and imagining an overproduced song starring the rapper, King is unimpressed with him and turns him down. This small moment highlights King's personal growth, which is only further exemplified in the subsequent scene between him, his family, and Marisol Cepeda. Ice Spice's cameo, who she plays and why she's important. Denzel Washington is in bed while someone is looking at him in Highest to Lowest. Ice Spice plays Marisol Cepeda in Highest to Lowest, which is also her cinematic debut. Marisol is an aspiring musician who impressed David's son, Trey. Convinced she has something special in her, Trey brings in Marisol as his first prospective client for David's new company, which is explicitly set up to become a family business. In contrast to young Felon's highly edited tracks, Marisol's more soulful and vulnerable performance clearly moves David, leading him to sign her as their first client in the film's final moments. Marisol represents the completion of David's arc, both as a father willing to listen to his son and as a producer who is just looking for music that moves him. Marisol's song even provides the title of the film, with her song about changing one's place in life titled Highest to Lowest. This underscores the importance of Marisol's role in the finale, a living and breathing proof of David's growth and his return to the art that used to, and seems to once again, define his professional passion. Young Felon's kidnapping plan explained. A$AP Rocky starring straight ahead in Highest to Lowest. Young Felon is eventually revealed to be an up-and-coming hip-hop artist from the same poor New York City neighborhoods that raised David and Paul. Despite his in Italy limited options for upward mobility, young Felon's kidnapping scheme to extort a massive ransom from King proves to be surprisingly effective. After seizing the opportunity to jump and capture the teenager they believe is Try, young Felon contacts King and demands a massive ransom. Even when his mistake is revealed, the kidnapper insists the ransom be paid in full. Despite the bag containing the fortune is set up with a police tracker, young Felon and his associates use the natural chaos of the city to their advantage. By ordering King to throw the money off the side of the train as part of the handoff, young Felon reduces the risk of being spotted. Felon and his friends then use the Puerto Rican Pride Parade as a natural distraction, slowing down the police response. Then, they use multiple drivers to play a shell game with the cops, getting away with the cash at the cost of one captured conspirator. It's all around a nearly flawless plan, with even his insistence on the ransom being in a foreign currency ensuring that the authorities can't easily track him. The only thing that gets young Felon caught is his earlier ambition. Having submitted his rap songs to David King in the past, Christopher's comments about distinctive lyrics gives King a crucial clue in discovering who young Felon is. What happens to Paul and Christopher in Highest to Lowest? Jeffrey Wright in Highest to Lowest. Two of Highest to Lowest's most important side characters are Paul and his son Christopher. David's longtime confidant and personal driver, Paul is treated as family by the Kings. This makes David's reluctance to trade his fortune for Christopher's life all the more heartbreaking, building to David's decision to save Christopher and reaffirm his emotional bonds. Although he was roughed up by young Felon and the other kidnappers, Christopher is returned alive and, fairly, well. Christopher is also shown to hold no ill will towards the kings, underscoring the important connection between them. Paul doesn't fare as well, although he does help ensure that David brings young Felon to justice. Driving David to confront young Felon, Paul waits behind as a potential escape. When young Felon flees the scene, he opens fire on Paul. Paul is wounded, seemingly losing an eye in the process. However, he otherwise survives the ordeal. Although Paul is leaving David's employ by the end of the film, his final scene in the film reaffirms his close bond with David. How Spike Lee updates Kuros's original ending. Denzel Washington in Highest to Lowest. Highest to Lowest is Spike Lee's take on Akira Kuros's High and Low. The setting has been updated from post-World War II Japan to 21st century New York City, with the new film adding themes about artistry that were absent from the original. Otherwise, they largely follow the same overall arc. Notably, both films have functionally similar final confrontations for the hero and villain. In High and Low, the final confrontation between Kingo Gondo and Ginjiro Takeuchi comes across as more pathetic. Ginjiro's fascination and jealousy over Gondo give way to pathetic screaming and desperation. Highest to Lowest sees the confrontation take a more aggressive approach, with young Felon left furious by King's dismissal. This highlights the biggest changes between Highest to Lowest and High and Low, as the modernization of the story gives young Felon a greater feeling of fury over his situation. Both he and Ginjiro were jealous of the lifestyles of the high world while being trapped below in the low, but young Felon's fury is more